Ito yung module natin for Petroleum Economics. Okay, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Nag-suggest ako na kung pwede, magka face-to-face tayo tomorrow para makuha niyo na po yung inyong module. Kasi sayang naman kung masyadong makakatagal yung pagkuha nyo sa module. So, ito po yung makikita nyo sa module natin. Yan, cover page and the table of contents. And of course, the lectures. Okay. So ngayon, simulan na po natin yung discussion natin for the chapter 1, which is the petroleum processes. So sabi dito, the upstream activities in oil and gas production encompasses the processes of oil and gas exploration, drilling, and extraction. No. So alam naman natin, pag upstream activities, more on ang knowledge natin is about exploration, no, drilling, at saka yung production. Okay? So, in this chapter, the following will be discussed. The phases involved in oil and gas operations. So, ito naman na-discuss na ata to sa inyo sa production engineering, the 5 phases. Okay, the 5 major phases, which are the exploration, drilling and production, evaluation and appraisal, no? Tsaka abandonment, tsaka di pala, before that, development, and then abandonment. Okay? So, yun po yung mga nadi-discuss natin. Hindi pala, search pala ng exploration, evaluation and appraisal, development, production, tapos abandonment. Yun pa yung sunod-sunod. Okay, so I think na-discuss naman yun sa inyo. No. Pero dito sa ating module na to, meron po tayong 7 pieces. Okay? So may madadagdag lang na dalawa. And yung dalawa na madadagdag na yun ay under lang din naman yun talaga ng exploration. Ang ginawa kasi dito is mas detailed yung phases. Okay? So, next, process and techniques involved in oil and gas exploration. So, dito po natin madidiscuss yung mga techniques na okay. Dito natin madidiscuss yung drilling techniques, okay, mga offshore drilling techniques, tsaka advanced drilling techniques and technologies. Next, impact and benefits of advanced exploration techniques. Okay? So, dito papasok yung mga horizontal drilling, oil bed methane drilling, tsaka extended reach drilling technologies. Okay, so yun po yung mga madidiscuss natin. And expect nyo na rin na madidiscuss din natin yung mga topics din under ng Farm Eval, Reservoir Engineering, Front-End, tsaka may konti na rin pong WTA, and Resmol. Okay, pero mga lang yun, mga pahapyaw lang. Mga pahapyaw lang, kaya huwag kayong mag-alala, more on concepts lang yun. So, okay, so ngayon simulan na natin yung sa upstream activities natin. So sabi, meron daw itong tatlong role yung upstream activities sa energy sector. The first one is exploration. Okay? Exploration is a set of coordinated efforts encompassing various integrated disciplines, sciences, and technologies, not limited to geology, geophysics, with the objective of identifying untapped oil and gas reserves that can be economically extracted in a reasonable future. So alam naman natin exploration more on determination and location of potential oil and gas deposits or reserves, no, through exploration activities such as geological surveys, seismic studies, and other exploration techniques. Okay? Ganun naman yung ginagawa sa exploration. More on, ang ginagawa muna is ini-scan muna yung area, nagre-research muna sa area, sinesearch muna, inaalam muna yung historic data, no? Siyempre, after nun, kung ma-ensure na mayroong viable reserves or economical reserves, okay? Tsaka pa lang tayo magdi-drill ng mga exploratory wells. Okay? So, gano'n naman yung ginagawa sa exploration, 'di ka? And then after nun, after magkaroon ng exploration, no, kakaroon na tayo ng drilling and production, 'di ka? So, performing well drilling for assessing recognized reserves and extracting crude oil and natural gas from underground or underwater reservoirs. This involves the establishment of the essential infrastructure and technologies to ensure efficient and secure production. Okay, so sa drilling muna, this involves creating a wellbore to penetrate the Earth's surface to reach oil and gas deposits. So, sa drilling, of course, gumagamit tayo ng mga drilling rigs and different tools para mabore natin yung different rock layers. And then after natin ma-reach yung targeted reservoir, casing naman at cementing. No? So bakit tayo nagkakaroon ng casing and cementing? To stabilize the well and para ma-prevent yung contamination. Okay? And then after nun, after ma-secure yung casing and cementing, magkakaroon tayo ng production. Okay? Pag na-complete na yung well, so sa production, pinaka-meaning natin doon is i-bring up lang natin yung hydrocarbons to the surface. Okay? And sa production natin, of course, dapat na rin yung development where magkakaroon tayo ng installation ng production facilities. No? Na tayo nag-install ng mga pumps, separators, tankers, compressors, and etc. in order to manage the flow of oil and gas and associated water. Okay? And then next, of course, during the production, meron na po tayo dapat reservoir management. Optimizing the process of extraction to achieve maximum recovery from individual reservoirs. This entails the assessment of reservoir performance, the application of enhanced oil recovery or the EOR methods, and the control production rates to guarantee the long-term sustainability and profitability to resource extraction. Okay? So sa reservoir management, involved dito yung monitoring of reservoir performance through data collection and analysis. Dito natin mamonitor yung pressure, production rates, and fluid composition. So, dito rin sa reservoir management, yung mga engineers ay gumagamit ng techniques like reservoir simulation, well testing, and enhanced oil recovery methods in order to adjust production strategies para ma-improve natin yung recovery ng reserves. Okay? Dito sa reservoir management, pwede rin i-adjust yung well placement, okay? Production rates, okay? Or pwede rin mag-implement ng secondary and tertiary recovery methods such as water flooding, gas injection, or chemical flooding para ma-maximize yung output. So yung tatlong yun, yung water flooding or skin flooding, gas injection, chemical flooding, yan po yung mga EOR or enhanced recovery methods. Okay? Next, so let's discuss the phases of upstream oil and gas operation. So ito na po yung sinasabi ko, 7 phases of upstream activities. Okay, so according to Mohit Singh, there are 7 phases. Okay? But our common knowledge is we only have 5 major phases. Ano? And sabi ko nga earlier, yung phase 1 is phase 2. Yung phase 1 and phase 2 are commonly under ng exploration. Okay? Pero i-discuss na rin natin. Okay? Phase 1, pre-license prospecting. Pre-license prospecting, also known as pre-license exploration, generally involves the geological assessment of very large areas. The tasks encompassed in pre-license prospecting exhibit variation, however, typically remain broad in scope and may not necessarily be included within an integrated project. Okay, so ito most likely is under non-exploration. Dito kasi sa pre-license, yung mga companies natin is nagpe-purchase ng geological and geophysical data or tinatawag na GNG covering fairly large areas. So, tandaan nyo ng pag pre-license more on focus sa large areas. Okay? So, other activities na ginagawa sa pre-license is parang kagaya lang po sa exploration where nagre-research and nag-analyze po ng areas historic geologic data. Okay? And ina-assess din yung topographical information. Okay? So, next natin, phase 2, mineral right acquisition or contracting. Mineral interest acquisition refers to the formal procedures of acquiring the legal rights to explore, develop, and produce oil or gas in a specific area from the owner of mineral rights. Generally, the oil and gas company is granted a mineral stake in the event of successful negotiations. Sa mineral right acquisition or contracting yan, from the word itself, kontrata, kontrata na. Kasi, of course, if sa pre-license prospecting, nakita natin na merong viable or economical reserves doon sa large areas na ating inanalyze or ating in-explore, okay? Siyempre, ang kasunod na nun is contracting, okay? So, we have 4 different contracts sa mineral rights acquisitions, which are the leases, concessions, production sharing contracts, and lease service contracts. Okay? Unahin muna natin yung leases. So, sa lease, an oil and gas lease grants to the oil company or oil and gas company the right and obligation to operate a property. So, this includes the right to explore, develop, and produce oil and gas from the property and also obligates the company to pay all costs. Okay, so yung lease po is most likely makikita sa US. So sa US po most likely lease contracts po yung ginagamit. Okay? So pag nabigyan ka ng lease contract, yung property na yon, ikaw na yung bahala kung anong gagawin mo sa property na yun. Pwede ka na mag-drill doon, pwede kang magtayo ng mga infrastructure doon, and ikaw na din yung bahala sa cost. Okay? And then next natin is concessions. Concession agreements are very similar to lease agreements. The primary difference is that concession agreements are encountered or it is offered outside the United States. Okay? Where the mineral rights owner is the local government. And in addition, some concession agreements provide for government participation in the form of a joint working interest. So parang kapareho lang po siya ng lease. However, concession agreements are offered outside United States. So, sa Pilipinas, may mga concession agreements din. Okay? So, yun po yung mga examples. Okay? And then next po natin is the production sharing contracts. No? Okay, yung production sharing contracts is the most commonly used arrangement by which companies obtain the rights from the government to explore, develop, and produce oil and gas. So, yung production sharing contracts po natin or sometimes called production sharing agreements, no, ay common types na ng contract signed between the government and a resource extraction company or oil and gas companies. So, yung production sharing contracts, kasama na rin doon yung hatian or how much the resource, usually oil, extracted from the country each will receive. Okay? And then the last is risk service contracts. Risk service contracts were initially used in areas where oil and gas production had been achieved, but the need existed to rejuvenate the field or production area. Okay, so yun po yung apat na contracts na ginagamit sa mineral right acquisition. Okay, so after ng mineral right acquisition, may contract ka na, syempre pwede mo nang simulan yung exploration. Okay? Exploration refers to the thorough analysis of an area in which a mineral interest has been obtained. Overall, the geographic region has shown enough promise to call for further study in order to ascertain the presence of oil and gas in significant amounts suitable for commercial purposes. So, sa exploration, the activities involved in exploration very similar to those in pre-license prospecting phase. However, they are usually concentrated on a smaller geographical area and include the drilling of wells. Okay, so pinagkaiba daw po ng exploration sa pre-license. Most likely daw po kasi parang pareho lang. No? Kasi ang nangyayari din kasi sa pre-license is parang exploration din. Pero mas focus sa large areas. Yung exploration, ang focus niya lang is small areas and nagkakaroon na rin po tayo ng drilling of wells. Okay? So, exploration activities are varied but are likely to include conducting topographical, geological, geochemical, and geophysical studies and exploratory drilling. Okay? Next, after ng exploration, of course, nakapag-drill na tayo ng wells. No? Okay? Next po natin is evaluation and appraisal. Within the evaluation and appraisal phase, the objective is to verify and assess the existence and number of reserves. Exploratory wells may have discovered petroleum reserves, yet evaluation and appraisal are typically required to justify the financial investments associated with the exploration and extraction of the reserves, in essence, verifying the commercial viability of the reserves. So sa evaluation and appraisal, no, after an exploratory well or multiple exploratory wells have been drilled into a reservoir and have resulted in the discovery of oil and or gas reserves. So nagdidrill po tayo ng additional wells which is called appraisal well. Yep. Okay, so yung exploratory wells natin is sa exploration activities yung kasama. Di ka? Okay? So sa evaluation and appraisal, ang kasama na dito is nagdidrill ka pa ng ng other wells na tinatawag natin na appraisal wells. So ano ba yung function ng appraisal wells? So sa exploratory wells muna, di ba? Kaya tayo nagdidrill ng exploratory wells is ang main purpose nun is to produce or to extract oil and gas reserves. No, dadali natin yun sa surface. Okay? Sa appraisal wells, main purpose nito is to gain information about the size and characteristics of the reservoir para ma-assess natin ng mas maayos yung commercial potential and to better estimate the recoverable reserves. So, yun po yung function ng appraisal well. And I think, na-discuss na din naman to sa inyo noon sa mga subjects nyo. No? Okay, na ang third year. Okay? So, next natin, development. Okay? Once a development plan has been created, companies usually proceed to the development phase. So this phase encompasses the execution of necessary measures to effectively attain commercial production. Generally, this stage encompasses the following activities. Okay, drilling additional wells required to extract the commercial reserves, building platforms and gas treatment plants, constructing equipment and facilities essential for cleaning the oil and gas surface and for managing, storing and processing or treating the oil and gas and constructing pipeline storage facilities and waste disposal system. Okay, so dito sa development, tandaan nyo lang is nag-i-install na tayo ng mga infrastructures and important equipment na for the extraction and production of the reserves. Okay? Phase 6, production. The production phase encompasses the extraction of oil and gas from the specific area chosen, together with all the associated procedures required to render the obtained oil and gas suitable for commercialization and transportation. So sa production natin, dito na po kasama yung lifting of oil or gas natin to the surface, gathering production from individual wells, and transporting it to a common point in or near the field. Now, kasama na po dito yung filtering and processing. Example po natin, removal of basic sediments and water, no? And separation po ng oil and gas. Tapos sa production, okay, kasama na dito yung storage of production, okay, where kaya nga po tayo nag-install ng mga separator, ng mga pumps, ng mga compressors, ng mga tankers. Kasi sa production, kasama na rin dito yung pagre-remove ng impurities, okay, doon sa ating oil and gas na biniring up natin from the subsurface. Okay? So, kasi minsan, ang akala kasi natin is pag production lang, no? Pinuproduce lang yung oil and gas reserves from the subsurface to the surface. Pero sa production po kasama na din yung pagre-remove, pagsasala ng oil and gas para pag transport natin, okay, hindi na masyadong i-treat, okay, yung oil and gas reserves. Kasi doon pa lang sa production, tinitreat na din siya, okay? Kasi sa downstream activities, sa downstream sector, no, yung ating oil and gas, yung ating crude oil and natural gas kasi is kino-convert na or tinatransform na into fuel products. Okay? Or usable products. Okay? And then after nun, the last phase is the closure or the abandonment. And at the end of the productive life of an oil or gas field, it is usually necessary to restore the site to its original state. Therefore, the closure phase encompasses the activities of plugging and abandoning wells, removing equipment and facilities, rehabilitating and restoring the operational site, and at last, leaving. So, sa closure, sa abandonment, no, equipment must be removed from the platforms, and of course, yung platforms po natin or yung mga rigs natin must be dismantled and removed. And of course, yung mga pipelines po natin, extending to or from the platforms must also be removed. Okay? So, yung degree po ng dismantlement, restoration, and removal ay nakadepende po yan upon the local laws and the contracts. Okay? So, syempre, kung ano yung nakapaloob sa inyong contracts na sinainan, for example, sa lease, sa concession, or sa PSC, okay, kung ano yung nandoon, okay, dapat susundin yun ng mga companies, okay, included na din doon yung mismong restoration ng area, okay. So, that's it, okay, for phases, okay, for the 7 process. So, nandyan pa ba kayo, guys? Okay, so yan. Since online naman ngayon, so bukas nyo na-expect yung presentation. And hindi ko rin siya sa kayo maririnig kasi sobrang ingay talaga. Buti hindi niya naririnig yung data. Ingay niya. Kaya bukas na lang po tayo recitation. Okay, pero tutuloy ko na rin yung discussion natin para medyo makalayo-layo tayo. 10:30 pa naman yung start ng klase niyo. So, try ko lang tapusin hanggang offshore drilling techniques or advanced drilling techniques na para konti na lang yung ating madi-discuss bukas. Wait. Wait up, nahulog yung earphones ko. Okay. So, discuss natin yung importance of drilling and production exploration techniques. Madali lang naman to. So sabi dito, advanced techniques such as 3D seismic imaging, horizontal drilling, and hydraulic fracturing enhance the accuracy of reservoir location and the capacity to extract oil and gas from complex and unconventional sources, resulting in increased recovery rates. So yan po yung mga techniques na ginagamit. Okay? So yung mga techniques daw po na yan is ine-enhance yung efficiency of drilling and production operations, reduce the likelihood of drilling dry wells, and maximize resource utilization, leading to major cost reductions. So modern exploration and production techniques are specifically developed to minimize surface disturbance, decrease emissions, and restrict water consumption and waste, thereby promoting more sustainable and environmentally friendly operations. So ito daw po yung mga significance of efficient drilling techniques. Siyempre, cost reduction. Okay. Siyempre, if efficient yung drilling natin, minimize yung drilling time and resource use. So, marireduce yung overall operational costs and may-increase yung profitability. Maximize production. So, by accurately targeting oil and gas reservoirs, yung efficient drilling natin, ini-ensure nito yung higher recovery rate. So, mas mamamaximize natin yung amount ng hydrocarbons na may extract. Okay? Next natin is, of course, pag efficient yung drilling, mas minimize yung environmental impact. Okay? Nare-reduce nito yung footprint of drilling operations, mas lower yung emissions, and nadi-decrease yung likelihood of spills or other environmental damage. Next is, of course, mas improve yung safety. Okay? Mas nape-prevent yung accidents, yung equipment failures, and blowouts. So, mas na-ensure yung safe working environment for the crews. Next, extension of well life. So, alam naman natin, sa production, mas prepare po natin yung extended yung well life or extended yung production. Tama? Kasi, pagka-efficient yung drilling natin, maayos yung ating well placement and may stability, mas mapoprolong yung productive life of wells and mas nare-reduce natin yung maintenance and the need for costly redrilling or additional wells. Alam naman natin, mas marami po tayong dinedrill na wells, mas magastos. Okay? Next, better data collection. Advanced techniques provide more accurate geological data. So, mas maganda po yung decision making natin and mas maganda yung ating future exploration planning. And faster project. Okay? Syempre, kung mas efficient yung drilling natin, kahit productive yung wells, okay? And let's say sabihin natin na mas matagal siya kumpara dun sa hindi productive yung well or hindi pala unproductive yung well, no? Mas mapabilis pa rin yung project, no? Pero kahit mas mabilis yung project, mas productive naman and mas economical siya i-produce. Okay? So, next natin is drilling techniques in upstream activities. Okay, so, dito manggagaling yung recitation natin for tomorrow. Pero explain ko na lang ito. Bukas na lang tayo magkaroon no, ng recitation. Kasi hindi ko talaga maririnig. Discuss lang natin ito. So we have drilling techniques in upstream activities. Marami tayong drilling techniques talaga sa upstream activities. Pero ang kasama ko na lang po or ang sinama ko na lang dito sa module since ito naman po is parang refresher lang is tatlo lang. So, the three commonly used methods. Okay? Rotary drilling method. So, the rotary drilling method is a widely used method in the oil and gas industry where a rotating drill bit is used to penetrate the subsurface layers in order to access deeper reservoirs. The equipment required includes a rotary table or top drive. So ito naman is madidiscuss nyo or na-discuss nyo na pala sa drilling technology. Yung mga drill string, mud pumps, and a derrick or a mass. So ayan, drilling technology yan. Although capable of penetrating many rock types, reaching considerable depths, and delivering efficient weights, this technology is limited by expensive equipment, expenses, environmental hazards, and difficulties with hard rock formation. So yan, rotary drilling method. Ang itsura nito pag nag-drill is yun, rotation. Di ka, nagamit tayo ng rotary table or top drive. Okay? Next po natin is cable tool drilling method. Tinatawag rin itong percussion drilling. This is a traditional method employed for well drilling. This process involves hoisting and lowering an important tool to break down and crush rock formations, hence generating a bore. So, pinagkaiba po nito sa rotary drilling method, no? Yung cable tool drilling method kasi is nagre-rely siya sa impact. Okay? Okay. Sabi dito, by relying on impact instead of rotation. Kasi rotary drilling method, from the word itself, rotary, rotation. No? Okay? Itong cable tool drilling method, mas nagre-rely po siya sa impact. Okay? So parang ano siya, up and down, up and down, up and down. No? Ganun po yung cable tool drilling method. Okay? So this method becomes simpler, more cost-effective, and more efficient in remote areas. Nevertheless, this technology has constraints such as reduced cutting speeds and unlike rotary drilling method, rotation kasi yun, tuloy-tuloy. Na, okay, mas mabilis po siyang nakaka-drill. Unlike dito sa cable tool drilling method, up and down po siya, no? Okay? Siyempre, mas reduce po yung cutting speeds. And challenges in managing deep or rigid rock formation and frequent need for human involvement, so reducing its effectiveness for extensive or deep drilling operations. So yan ang pangit sa kanya, pag masyadong deep na, since kailangan po siya ng reliance or it depends on the cruise din, okay? So pagka masyadong deep na yung dinidrill, hindi na po siya masyadong effective. Okay? Next is the directional drilling method. Directional drilling method is a technical method that enables the exploration of underground resources from different angles by employing specialized equipment and technology to guide the drill bit. This technique is sometimes employed to access many destinations in a single well bore or to overcome difficulties. The drilling rig has several components such as a drill bit, drill string, measurement while drilling or MWD equipment, and a top drive. Nevertheless, it is constrained by cost and complexity. So, sa tatlo, ito na yung pinaka-advanced. Okay? Ito na yung pinaka-advanced kasi sa directional drilling method, naliliko mo na yung drill bit. Unlike sa percussion drilling and rotary drilling method na very traditional. Na mas advanced to kasi nakakagawa ka na ng angle, mas nare-reach mo yung mga unconventional resources, okay, na hindi nare-reach ng percussion drilling and rotary drilling method. Okay? So, yun. Wait lang pala guys, may klase na pala ako sa ibang subject. Actually, may klase na ako sa intro to eng. Pero, intro to eng lang naman yun guys. So, I think magkaklase na lang ako ay mga 10 AM na. Kasi alam niyo naman intro time wala naman kasing tinuturo dun, eh. Wait, sabihin ko lang 10 AM kami mag-start. Yan. So tuloy na natin 'to guys 'no, kasi 10:30 naman kayo, binabawi ko lang din yung mga, oras na hindi tayo nakapagklase. Okey, so tuloy tayo, offshore drilling techniques tayo. Ito rin guys is refresher lang din kasi na-discuss niyo na 'to sa drilling technology 'no. Okey, yung mga ginagamit na offshore drilling techniques. Okey, so dito 4 lang yung fo-fokusan natin. Okey, yung mga most commonly used lang na techniques. Unahin na natin is jack-up rigs. With jack-up rig technology, a drilling rig is raised above the bottom on a floating platform with legs that can be moved. Key parts of it are the legs, the jack-up system, the platform deck, and the drilling tools. Some benefits are safety in shallow water, lower operating costs, and peaceful sea conditions. But they cannot work in deep or ultra-deep water, can be damaged by bad weather, and need a solid bottom to support their legs. So, itong jack-up rigs, most likely ginagamit po 'to 'pag mga shallow water lang na. Mga shallow water kasi mas safe siya sa shallow water. And unlike semi-submersible rigs, submersible rigs, drill ships, platforms, mas mura siya i-install sa shallow water. Okay? Kasi ang maganda rito is yung mga legs nito, yung foundation, no, matibay siya sa shallow water. Pero pagka masyadong, pangit yung panahon, dun nagkakaproblema. Okay? Yung mga jack-up rigs. Okay, and I think na-discuss naman dito sa inyo noon sa drill. No? Okay, next po natin is semi-submersible rigs. Wait lang. May nakalat daw na may nagtatanong sa akin kung cancel daw po ba ang klase. Parang wala naman na-announce. Wait lang. Clarify ko lang guys. May. Lagi na lang tinatamaan Monday. Ba't wala naman? Okay. So yun, fake news na. Tuloy tayo. Semi-submersible rig. So a semi-submersible rig is a local platform that is attached to the bottom of the ocean by mooring lines or chains. So this keeps the platform stable even when the sea is rough. It has a deck, drilling tools, buoyant hulls, and a mooring system. Deep and ultra deep seas, harsh weather, and being able to use these areas for offshore drilling are all benefits. Some problems are that it costs more to run and takes up more sea. So itong submersible, more on it relies on the buoying hulls, mooring system, no? Kasi semi-submersible nga, kalahati nito ay nakalutang sa tubig. Di ka? And ang kagandahan nito is maganda to pag mga malalalim na. So, like submersible rigs, maganda to pag ultra deep or deep sea levels. No? Okay. And ang pangit lang dito kasi is yung installation cost nito, okay, or yung capex natin na tinatawag is malaki. Malaki talaga siya. No? However, in the long run, no, nababawi naman ng semi-submersible rigs yung cost. Okay, kasi mas productive to sa deep water. Okay? Next natin, drill ship. Drill ship technology is a type of ship that is specifically made for drilling activities at sea and is equipped with high-tech systems for drilling in deep water. It floats on the top of the water and is precisely located by thrusters that move it around. A dynamic positioning device, a drilling derrick, and tools are some of the most important parts. Deep water operations, flexibility, and real-time tracking are something. Maganda sa drill ships kumpara sa mga rigs, no, na ini-install. This is very mobile, no? And ang maganda rito is maliit lang siya kumpara dun sa ibang rigs. Okay? And sometimes drill ship serves as FPSO, no? Okay, alam niyo naman yun, Tigas. Okay? FPSO, tinatawag na Floating Production Storage and Offloading, no? Okay? Yun ay shore vessel din na nag-a-act as self-contained production facility for extracting, processing, and storing oil and gas from subsea wells. Tika. Okay? Maganda dito, yung mga remote areas din, for example, yung mga hindi pwedeng installan or hindi marireach ng other rigs, no, marireach ng mga drill ships. Okay, ano maganda nga do is nag-act as FPSO na where after ng drilling, pwede na rin siyang maging storage. Okay? Next po natin is platforms. Offshore drilling platforms are fixed structures that are anchored to the bottom of the ocean. They are used for activities in shallow to moderate water. They have a deck, foundation, and a drilling rig. They are stable, can be used for a long time, and have a lot of services. But they are expensive to build, limited flexibility, and may have negative effects on the environment. So, platforms natin, kung alam nyo, sa Malampaya, diga, most likely mga fixed platforms yung binibuild doon. Okay? And most likely, ginagamit to in order to recover natural gas. Okay? Platforms. Okay? So, yun. Next tayo. Advanced drilling technologies. Okay. Hanggang dito na lang siguro tayo. And the next meeting natin, i-discuss natin yung enhanced oil recovery methods hanggang doon. So, advanced drilling technologies natin, we have 3 commonly used advanced drilling technologies. Okay? Pero marami po guys, marami to. Pero ang sinasama ko na lang is mga patatlo-tatlo. No? Yung mga, kumbaga, first 3 na technologies na laging ginagamit. No? Para hindi masyado madami. Kasi, mapapansin nyo, 130 pages tong module eh. 138 pages. So, hindi talaga magkakasya. And, sobrang konti lang talaga ng oras for pet econ. Okay? Kaya, yan. Pinili ko na lang talaga. Okay? So, first one po natin is horizontal drilling. A special type of directional drilling technique. It involves drilling a well through a geological formation at a 90-degree angle from the vertical. The extended lateral segments of the well enhance the contact between the reservoir and the well, therefore enhancing reservoir productivity. Commonly, it is used to thin formations characterized by excellent vertical permeability or formations with a high vertical to horizontal permeability ratio. So, itong horizontal drilling is, ang maganda rito, advanced siya, no? Kaya advanced drilling technology siya, kasi kaya niyang gawin yung 90-degree angle from the vertical. So, okay na, siguro naman nag-visualize nyo, no? Kung of course, di ba meron po tayong mga wells or meron po tayong palang mga reservoirs na hindi natin pwedeng basta pagtayuan ng mga rigs. No? Okay, for example, drawing tayo. Ito yung ating area. So, ito po yung ating rig, for example. Tapos, nandito kuwari yung ating kukuhanan ng oil. Diba? For example, ito ay mountain. Diba? Of course, mas costly and mas challenging if we are going to install the rig dito. Diba? Okay? So, kagandahan sa horizontal drilling is pwede natin siyang ilagay kahit saan. Okay? pwede natin siyang itayo sa mas safe na area where mas minimal yung cost, okay, and mas less yung challenge. And sabi nga, okay, pwede tayong mag-drill ng well through a geological formation at a 90-degree angle from vertical. So like this na. So mas madali nating ma-access yung reservoir. So yeah. Okay. Next, coal bed methane drilling. Coal bed methane drilling is a drilling of wells in front of a coal face to remove methane gas from the coal before mining with the goal of minimizing its presence in underground mines. Ano so ito? Coal bed methane drilling ginagamit ito. Siyempre, pagka ang dinidrill natin, ang dinidrill natin is coal bed. Ano? Okay. Then next, extended reach drilling. This technology enables the drilling of extended horizontal wells at a steep inclination angle to access underground oil or natural gas reserves located at a greater distances from the drilling location as opposed to conventional vertical drilling. Extended reach drilling is a complex version of directional drilling technique, more precisely drilling at a steep inclination angle enables the drilling of horizontal wells across much greater distances. So, pinagkaiba nito, dito, okay, ito ay parang upgraded na horizontal drilling. Kagandahan lang dito sa extended reach drilling is from the word itself, extended, no, mas malayo yung distances na nako-cover ito. Isipin nyo lang, itong extended reach drilling is much more complex and challenging than horizontal drilling. Okay, mas advanced to. However, mas maganda to if magkakaroon ka ng mastery since the distance is not a problem na dito sa extended reach drilling. Okay? So, yun. So, that's it for today. No? And as I promised, bukas ko na pwede discuss yung EOR methods. No? Okay, ma-discuss natin bukas EOR methods. Okay? Impact and benefits of advanced drilling technologies. Madali lang naman to. Well logging and formation evaluation. No? More on form eval na to, pahapiyaw lang din. Reservoir characterization, yung mga seismic reflection at refraction, and reservoir simulation. So bukas na po natin ito i-discuss and I think patatapos naman natin ito bukas kasi kukunti na lang ito. And then next week po, week 4, buong week 4, i-discuss po natin yung assets. So yeah. So yan, meron po ba kayong tanong guys before we end our meeting today? So dislike nga kung wala. Okay, so yan. Bukas po, kita-kits na lang tayo. Ano bang oras tayo bukas? Bukas tayo ay sobrang aga. 7 to 8 p.m. Okay, so yan, Jello, meron ka bang concern?
Sir, good morning po. Yun po
Okay,
yung
sige.
concern.
Okay, ulit.
Yun po yung concern ko, sir. Masyado pong early.
Aga. Okay, so pwede naman natin gawin is yung kagaya ng nakaraan. Ano bang oras tayo na klase ng 11 to 12? Tama? 11 to 12 ba yun? Kung wala kayong klase ng 11 to 12, okay, pwedeng 11 to 12 para hindi masyadong maaga. Okay? So, gano'n na lang yung gawin natin. Para din makapag-prepare din ako kasi usually 7 a.m. talaga nagarag pa ako magklase nung parang kagaya sa O1 tas may flag ceremony pa no, pag Monday. So, yan. Sige, payagan ko kayo 11 to 12 no? So, be early na lang din. Siguro mga 10:45 no? Make sure na nasa school na kayo. And, i-announce ko na lang din yung rooms kung saan tayo kakaroon ng klase. So, usually naman, vacanting room is Computer Lab 2, third floor uli. physics lab or computer lab 3. No, doon lang tayo mamimili ng rooms. Okay? So, be early na lang na mga 10:45 para saktong 11 po is makapag-distribute na tayo ng module and makapag-klase na rin. And nga pala guys, send nyo na lang kay Jello yung payment nyo for module. And I hope this week, makompleto na po agad para hindi rin ako ma-delay sa pagbabayad sa pinagpagawan kong module. Okay, so yun. 280 pesos guys and mag-send na lang kayo ng receipt kay Jello. Okay. So yun, Jello, isend mo na lang din sa akin yung payment pag kompleto na. Okay, and if meron kayong concern, mag-chat lang po kayo sa akin. Okay. So that's it. If you don't have any questions or clarifications or violent reaction, you can leave the